In today's financial environment, building wealth isn't simply about earning more or investing more. It's also about structuring your assets, timing your decisions, and managing your tax exposure. By applying thoughtful strategies, you can retain more of your gains, preserve flexibility, and better plan for the unexpected. In the following sections, I will walk you through 10 widely used, tax efficient, and wealth building strategies, showing how and why they are used, along with realistic examples you can follow. Remember, this is for educational purposes only. It is not specific tax or legal advice. 1. Tax diversification and asset allocation. Tax diversification means spreading your investment accounts across different tax treatment categories, namely taxable, regular brokerage, tax deferred, traditional IRAs or 401ks, and tax-free, Roth IRAs or Roth 401ks. The reason this matters is that future tax rates and laws are uncertain, but you can control from which account you draw in retirement, thereby controlling your tax burden. Asset allocation is the next level. Once you have multiple account types, you strategically place different kinds of assets into the right type of account to maximize tax efficiency. For instance, an asset that generates ordinary income every year, such as a bond paying interest, is less tax efficient if held in a taxable account, because that interest is taxed at your ordinary income rate. On the other hand, an equity investment that grows without distributing much income may benefit from being in a taxable account where long-term capital gains are taxed at lower rates. Imagine you are 40 years old with $250,000 to invest in a bond fund expected to yield 6% annually before tax. Assume your marginal tax rate on investment income is 35.8%. If you hold that bond fund in a taxable brokerage account, you pay tax each year on the interest. But if you instead hold it in a Roth IRA, you pay no tax when you withdraw in retirement. According to one analysis, over 20 years, the Roth version of that investment could end up about $290,000 higher in after-tax value compared to holding it in a taxable account. By combining tax diversification and asset location, you give yourself options. Suppose in retirement your income tax rate unexpectedly climbs, you could draw from your tax-free account, Roth, rather than your tax-deferred traditional IRA, avoiding high taxes. Or if your income drops and you are in a lower bracket, you might draw from tax-deferred accounts and pay less tax. The greater flexibility means you retain more of your retirement assets. 2. Tax loss harvesting. Tax loss harvesting is the deliberate sale of investments that have lost value in order to generate recognized losses that offset other taxable gains. In simple terms, if you have capital gains this year from selling winners, you can sell some losers to cancel out some or all of the gains, reducing tax today. Additionally, if losses exceed gains, up to $3,000 of the excess can often offset ordinary income, and the rest can be carried forward to future years. It is not about avoiding taxes entirely, but using underperforming investments to your advantage. Suppose you sold stock A and realized a $10,000 gain. At the same time, you sold stock B at a $10,000 loss. The net result, for tax purposes, is zero gain, therefore no capital gains tax on stock A. If you are in a 15% long-term capital gains bracket, you just saved $1,500 in tax. However, you must be mindful of the wash sale rule. You cannot repurchase the same or substantially identical security within 30 days, or the loss may be disallowed. This strategy works best when you have gains to offset or expect gains. Also, you must maintain your desired asset allocation. Selling losses should not lead you to be unbalanced in your portfolio. Finally, tax laws may change, so this should be one tool among many rather than a sole strategy. Third, Roth conversions and pre-tax versus post-tax timing strategies. A Roth conversion is when you transfer funds from a traditional pre-tax retirement account into a Roth post-tax account. You pay the tax now on the converted amount, but thereafter your growth and future withdrawals, assuming rules are met, are tax-free. The strategic question is, do I expect my tax rate to be higher or lower in the future? If higher, paying tax now makes sense. If lower, you might delay. Timing matters. Assume you have $100,000 in a traditional IRA and you expect your marginal tax rate this year to be 12%. If you convert $50,000 into a Roth, you will pay $6,000 tax now. Over 20 years, if that $50,000 grows to $200,000, then the $200,000 can be withdrawn tax-free, regardless of what tax rates might be then. By contrast, if you left it in the traditional IRA and your tax rate was, say, 22% in retirement, you would owe $44,000 tax on that $200,000. By converting strategically when tax rates are low or your income dips, you lock in favorable treatment. Even if you are not ultra-high net worth, conversion can help when you have a low-income year, job change, sabbatical, or if you believe tax law will push rates up. It gives you control. You can treat it like pre-buying your tax bill today to avoid a bigger tax later. 4. Charitable giving and philanthropy. Charitable giving can be both generous and tax efficient. By donating assets, especially those that have appreciated in value, you can avoid paying capital gains taxes and simultaneously get a deduction if you itemize. Using vehicles like donor-advised funds, DAFs, charitable remainder trusts, CRTs, or qualified charitable distributions, QCDs, from IRAs after age 65, 70 and a half, you can structure your giving to align with tax and estate objectives. Say you own stock currently worth $50,000 that you bought for $20,000, so there is $30,000 of unrealized gain. If you sell the stock, you may face capital gains tax on the $30,000. Suppose that 15% equals $4,500. Instead, if you donate the stock to a charity, you give away the full $50,000 value. Get a $50,000 charitable deduction, subject to limits, and avoid the $4,500 tax. Thus, more money goes to charity, and you get tax benefit. Beyond tax savings, giving can help with legacy planning. You may incorporate your philanthropic goals into how you pass on wealth, engage family in charitable purposes, and build a lasting impact. 5. Real estate and alternative investment strategies. Real estate offers unique tax benefits. Two of the most powerful are depreciation, a non-cash deduction, and the 1031 exchange, deferring capital gains when reinvesting in like-kind property. Alternative investments like opportunity zones provide tax deferral or reduction if you reinvest capital gains into qualified funds. Because real estate and alternatives behave differently than stocks and bonds, they also add diversification. Imagine you purchase a rental property for $300,000. Over the year, you collect $20,000 in rent, incur $5,000 in maintenance, and claim $10,000 in depreciation. Your taxable rental income is therefore only $5,000, $20,000 minus $5,000 to $10,000. You pay tax on that $5,000 instead of the full $20,000. Later, when you sell your property for $400,000, you might use a 1031 exchange to roll the $100,000 gain into a new property, deferring the gain tax entirely. Real estate isn't just for the ultra-rich. Even with modest uses, small rental properties, real estate investment trusts, REITs, you can capture tax advantages. Just remember, real estate involves different risks: illiquidity, property management, and tax law complexity, recapture of depreciation, cost basis, etc. 6. Estate planning and wealth transfer structures. Estate planning ensures that your assets are transferred to the next generation or designated heirs in a tax-efficient and intentional manner. Structures like irrevocable trusts, grantor-retained annuity trusts, spousal lifetime access trusts, and the annual gift tax exclusion allow you to reduce or bypass estate tax, lock in current valuations of assets, and remove future appreciation from your taxable estate. Suppose you own a business worth $5 million today and expect it to double in value to $10 million in the next decade. By transferring the business into a trust today, estate freeze, the $5 million is removed from your taxable estate. The $5 million growth then accrues to your heirs, not subject to additional estate tax. If estate tax is 40%, you potentially save $2 million. Even if your estate isn't massive, thoughtful planning means you pass on more to your heirs or charities rather than to taxes. And you can also avoid probate, protect assets, and set up governance for family wealth. 7. Business entity and ownership structure. Optimization. If you own a business, how you structure it, LLC, S corporation, C corporation, affects your tax liability, liability protection, and future exit or sale. Some structures allow pass-through taxation, avoiding corporate tax plus owner tax. Others can utilize benefits like qualified small business stock QSBS, which may exclude significant capital gains when the business is sold. Consider a founder who sells a company for $10 million structured under QSBS rules and qualifies for 100% gain exclusion. If the long-term capital gains rate is 20%, they potentially save $2 million in tax. If the entity qualified as an S corporation and pass-through income was taxed more favorably, the owner could also save on self-employment taxes. If you think of owning or building a business someday, selecting the proper entity structure early pays dividends later, literally and figuratively. It aligns tax strategy with business growth and exit planning. 8. Leveraging and borrowing against appreciating assets. Rather than selling appreciating assets, which would trigger capital gains tax, you can borrow against those assets, such as your investment portfolio, real estate, or business equity. The loan proceeds are not taxable income. Meanwhile, you keep exposure to asset growth. Leveraging must be handled prudently because borrowing increases risk and may require collateral or margin. Imagine you have an investment portfolio valued at $5 million. Instead of selling $1 million of it and paying long-term capital gains tax, say 15% equals $150,000, you borrow $1 million at 4% interest secured by the portfolio. If your investments continue to grow at 7%, you net 3% or $30,000 annually while keeping the $150,000 tax bill deferred. Over time, your portfolio grows and you delay recognition of tax. Borrowing isn't for everyone, but the principle applies. If you can find low-cost credit and maintain investment discipline, borrowing preserves your growth potential and avoids realizing tax prematurely. But you must weigh risk, interest cost, loan terms, and your ability to repay. 9. Multi-generational and legacy planning. Wealth is not simply about accumulation, it's about preservation and transition. Multi-generational planning ensures that wealth, values, and governance structures endure across generations. Families often establish multifamily offices, trusts, foundation governance, and structured succession plans to coordinate investments, taxation, philanthropy, and education. A family holds $30 million in assets and sets up a charitable foundation that distributes $500,000 annually, while the remaining assets are invested to provide continuing income for heirs and philanthropic goals. By structuring governance, they ensure that each generation is educated about the foundation's mission, thereby preserving legacy and minimizing internal conflict. You may not have $30 million today, but you likely want your financial efforts to benefit not just you, but your children or causes you care about. Legacy planning helps you define your purpose, create family alignment, and ensure your assets work for you even after you're gone. 10. Tax-efficient investments and timing. Not all investments are taxed the same. Some, like municipal bonds, offer tax-free interest. Holding periods matter. Long-term capital gains, assets held more than 1 year, are taxed at lower rates than short-term gains, assets held 1 year or less. Timing when you sell investments, realize gains/losses, or make withdrawals can materially affect your tax outcome. Suppose you have $50,000 of gain from the sale of an asset. If sold after holding more than 1 year, at 15% tax, you owe $7,500. If sold after 6 months and taxed as ordinary income at 22%, you owe $11,000. That difference of $3,500 could be redirected to other goals. Meanwhile, investing in a municipal bond that yields 4% tax-free, when your comparable taxable yield is 6% and taxed at 28%, means your after-tax yield is similar. So municipal bonds often make sense in higher tax brackets. By being aware of tax treatment and timing, you avoid tax friction, the unseen drag that taxes impose on portfolio growth. Simple awareness and planning can add up over decades. Conclusion: each of the strategies described here From tax diversification and asset location to borrowing against assets and legacy planning is a tool in the Wealth Builder's Toolkit. They are most powerful when integrated, not used in isolation. You can earn money, save money, but unless you plan how you structure it, protect it, and transfer it, your efforts may fall short of their potential. As always, consult qualified tax, legal, and financial professionals to tailor any strategy to your situation.